Yo, what is going on guys? CWpoke here, back with a brand new video. With the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon on the horizon, it's crazy seeing just how much more we've learned since when I started creating these videos early in the spring. Now traditionally, I've done a lot of Mega Evolution speculation for the upcoming games, but I figured I'd shift my focus onto something a little different this time. Alola Forms have been a pretty interesting way of taking old Kanto Pokemon and bringing new crazy and interesting designs into the game, while also still breathing life into older content. Now for this video, I wanted to create something that I call an artist showcase, showcasing a few of the several talented artists in the Pokemon community by looking at 10 ideas for Alola Forms that I think would be an amazing addition to the new games. So if you guys find any artwork that you really enjoy, be sure to show that artist some support too. Their links will all be down in the description down below. And before we begin, I want to ask you guys a simple question. What set of Pokemon do you most want to see gain new Alolan Forms? While only Gen 1 Pokemon have been given Alola Forms so far, feel free to type your favorite Pokemon regardless of the generation in the comments down below. And now with all of that said, let's jump straight into this top 10 Alola Forms showcase. Starting off today's list at number 10, it's actually yet another Kanto Pokemon, the mystical Jynx. Jynx is a Pokemon that I actually included in a recent Mega Evolution video, as I really feel like it deserves some attention, but I wound up finding this particular concept art for an Alolan Jynx, and I thought it was too good and hilarious to pass up on. But at the same time, the artist went through the effort to create a fake screen capture that looks so real, it's kind of a bummer when you realize that it isn't actually going to happen. Either way, these Alolan Jynx look like they had to dress to match the warmer climate by putting on the coconut bras and the hula skirts. It also looks like they've adapted even further by losing the chilly ice typing and gaining a new fairy type to complement the psychic typing. Similar to Gardevoir, I really feel like this could actually help out Jynx both offensively and defensively on the battlefield. Coming in at number 9 is actually one of the first Alolan Form designs I saw that inspired me to make this video. The Aegislash line is typically known for being swords that are actually possessed, and it looks like Alola could have a really cool twist on the Steel Ghost Pokemon. Donning new materials made from the Alolan region itself, the Alolan Aegislash, Doublade, and Honedge all have new wood-based designs with shark's teeth made from Pokemon like Sharpedo and Huntail. It's such a clever twist from the original design, and that's what I love about the new Alolan Forms. They don't necessarily make the Pokemon better, just different. The artist also gave the new Alolan Forms a change in typing from Ghost Steel to Steel and Water, which could possibly add some interesting coverage if there was also some new water moves that Aegislash got, such as Scald or Waterfall, to take advantage of those strong attacking stats. For 8th spot, the Univin Steel Dark type flies in with its commanding attacks and strong abilities. Bisharp has traditionally been one of the more offensive Pokemon introduced in Unova, and it appears Bisharp has taken a liking to the Alolan region as well. As the author puts it, Alolan Bisharp and Poniard become a little more disorganized, similar to the disorderly nature of the Team Skull group that's been running around. They've only grown stronger and more reckless in Alola, which makes me think Alolan Bisharp's attack and speed could both see a small increase. In addition to those changes, Alolan Bisharp also loses its Dark typing in place of Fighting, which changes up the resistances and weaknesses of Bisharp pretty significantly. Now able to be hit by Psychic type attacks, but not crumbling to the lightest Fighting type attack, it also now gains either Gooey or Moxie as an ability, which could both provide some interesting changes into how Bisharp functions in battle. I'd also love to see Team Skull's boss Guzma using an Alolan Bisharp as one of his signature Pokemon. Number 7 is a bit of a break from the super strong Alola Forms and is something that actually dons a rather adorable design, Vanillite. This ice type has a fan-made Alolan Form that is way too cute to not put on this list. The description of the picture is that it wears a cocktail umbrella in order to protect itself from the tropical heat. I guess even an ice cream Pokemon has to figure out a way to stay cool in the new climate. I could picture this Alolan Form expanding onto the further evolutions to provide Vanillite with some new utilities other than just ice type attacks to increase its potential with moves like Moonblast to stand up to some more types just a little bit better. Slowly making its way into number 6, I'm surprised that a Pokemon with a unique feature of regional changes hasn't actually had another one introduced yet, Gastrodon. This slug Pokemon has an east and a west form since the Sinnoh region is heavily divided by Mount Coronet, but in the Alola region, Gastrodon have adapted to the climate by changing to a new third form, one that mimics the volcanoes found in the new region. Alolan Gastrodon is pretty cool because it could possibly mimic Volcanion and becoming a brand new fire and water type. Or something that could be really interesting is making Alolan Gastrodon a fire ground type, and letting it keep Storm Drain as its ability. That way it's completely immune to the otherwise 4 times weakness to water. This would help expand Gastrodon's already diverse range of options on the battlefield. Dropping into the halfway mark at number 5, Golurk has some ancient roots in Alola as well. Golurk's backstory is that they were created ages ago to serve as guardians of the Unova region. It appears that the ancient Alolans also created their own variation of Golurk in order to protect the island from volcanic eruptions. Using the wood and dirt found around the island, the author gave Alolan Golurk a ground fairy typing. However, with the torches on its shoulders, I feel like a ground fire typing may be a little bit more appropriate. Either way, this design is absolutely incredible, and I feel like this is one of the most natural looking Alolan forms that I've ever seen. Another example of artwork that is so good, I'm actually bummed out knowing we probably won't see a form like this in the actual titles. Normally playing mischievous tricks for enjoyment, number 4 spot goes to Mischievous and Mismagius, 2 Pokemon who have taken a liking to the laid-back Alolan culture and decided to provide entertainment for the locals and tourists by their ghostly charm. Turning into ghost fairy typings, I love the designs of these Alolan ghosts as they break from the typical scary and intimidating design that most ghost types have, and it flips the script by making them look harmless and fun. Mismagius also has an issue of typically falling in second place to the poison ghost type Gengar, so the added fairy typing would be a nice way to differentiate the two ghosts and give Mismagius its own role in the competitive scene by having that offensive fairy potential. Moving on up to the final 3, next up on this list are some more Kanto classics, the Poisonous, Coughing, and Weezing. However, instead of maintaining their poisonous nature, the Coughing and Weezing in Alola have possibly eaten one too many pancakes as well, and are now Steel Fairy types. Based on a scented potpourri item, these new forms are actually a pretty funny mirror from their original designs, and I love the fact that their theming changes entirely. Instead of being noxious gas Pokemon, they turn into sweet scented Pokemon that can enjoy being around people, and that's a pretty neat change. Plus, Steel Fairy does make for an interesting type combination, and with a solid moveset redesign, Weezing could wind up being a fairly bulkier version of Mawile. Back in my Team Sun and Team Moon Mega Evolution videos, people seem to be very surprised that 2 clearly obvious Pokemon were missing from those lists. Long story short, there weren't mega designs I was super happy with for those 2 Pokemon, but Solrock and Lunatone have both made their way onto this top 10. Because of their obvious Sun and Moon designs, fans are anticipating that they may receive some sort of recognition in Gen 7, and I think these Alolan forms would be a very interesting way to go about that. The author used the color scheme of both Solgaleo and Lunala, as well as giving them their respective typings. I like the backstory of Solgaleo and Lunala's presence affecting the shape and structure of Solrock and Lunatone in Alola, which creates their unique appearance. It's a nice way to reference the logos of the game, as well as reference the cover legendaries at the same exact time. And finally, topping off this list of 10 of the coolest Alolan Form fan designs, we're gonna step back into Gen 1 with not just 1, but 2 iconic Kanto Pokemon, Venusaur and Blastoise. The Kanto starters saw Mega Evolutions back in X and Y, which was an incredible way to not only increase their potential on the battlefield, but revamp their designs. While personally I still really want to see Gen 2 starters gain new Megas or Alolan forms, I wasn't able to find a whole lot of fan art yet for them, but I did find some cool designs for 2 of the Kanto starters instead. Venusaur, adapting to the tropical vegetation, has taken on the dragon fruit plants located on the islands, and they've lost their poisonous nature and in return are now grass and dragon types. With a slight shift to some dragon type moves, I don't know if this new form would necessarily help Venusaur out defensively as it's incredibly vulnerable to ice now, but if it kept Thick Fat or Chlorophyll, Alolan Venusaur could maintain that mixed defensive and offensive presence. Blastoise on the other hand, have developed stronger shells in the region and are now a rock and water type. These new gemstone covered shells would increase Blastoise's defensive potential by a large amount. It would also gain the Regenerator ability, allowing Blastoise to take several hits and recover that health back on a simple switch. The author even added to the backstory saying that poachers are frequently trying to take the gemstones from the Blastoise, as they're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. This could make for a fun little side mission or plot point in the Sun and Moon titles. And with that concludes this episode of the Alolan Form Showcase. I want to know personally, what is your favorite Pokemon in this video that you saw with the new Alolan Form, and what Pokemon do you really want to see gain a new form in the Sun and Moon titles? I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to smash that like button and click that subscribe button if you have not already. If you want to check out some of my other top 10s, you can click on the annotations on the screen right now and it'll take you there. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.